please. Beautiful. Hi everyone, it's Pauline Duncan from Fun Back to Basics here. I'm here with Melissa, a homeschooling mum, who we're on here tonight to just finish off the end of the term if you're in Victoria. Other states have a little bit longer to go, but it doesn't hurt to think about all the fantastic things that have happened throughout your term. And things that have gone well, basically, or things that you're happy with, particularly those new families that have just started out and have got just settling in. There might be something that stands out to you that's been really beneficial to that. But it can be us who've been homeschooling for a long time and looking at things that have really gone well or worked really well, and I'm grateful for that this has happened, because we wouldn't be where we are today if it didn't. So this is just not a very long call tonight, everyone. It was an opportunity for us to celebrate. So I'll hand it over to you, Melissa, and I'll come back to what we've got to celebrate.
Well, thanks, Pauline. I really find that this is a bit of a theme this week, actually. It's very interesting because my son Joshua, who has been, he's been attending a rage management group for gamers at Headspace on Tuesday afternoon, of that age bracket between 11 and 14. And that was actually the topic that they actually asked to deal with, was how to not get enraged while they game. Anyway, it was interesting. My husband was playing with him the other day, Fortnite, and, you know, that game. Anyway, it was really interesting because something that was said in the group was actually to celebrate the small wins. And because he was looking too much over the big picture and how he failed the game, but he didn't look at the fact that he had actually been able to achieve certain shots, achieve certain points. He wasn't able to break it down and compartmentalize what he'd been able to achieve skill-wise. You know, and now, instead of getting enraged, he can say, yeah, I may have lost, but did you see that sniper shot? Or did you see that thing I won? Or did you see that whatever? And all of a sudden he started to realize, and he's not getting upset as much.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's small. It's really small steps. Someone else today, their granddaughter wanted to learn how to tie their shoelaces, and she was getting overwhelmed. So all they did was spend the time on that first loop until she got it, and then they did the next loop.
Yeah.
Before you knew it, she knew how to do it. And it's breaking those things into small, successful little step by step.
Absolutely. And little things like, you know, giving my kids a little bit of money to buy something to eat on the way home. You know, building their confidence up to go into a shop by themselves, order something that they like by themselves, and actually have to calculate it by themselves. Okay, they're 14, 15 in that sort of age bracket, but their confidence level, because they've been homeschooled, is actually, it's sort of roller coasters. They're really confident in some stuff, but they're not so confident in others. And that was a particular area that we found was waning, and now they're really super confident. They'll go into any shop and have no trouble at all transacting with the cashier, having, you know, using their FPOS cards, you know, all that sort of stuff. That was a huge deal. Before, they were scared witless and like, oh, Mum, can you go buy it for me? Oh, Mum, can you do this? Or, oh, Mum, can you do that? No, they're fine now. And I know that it's been a journey, but at this point in time, this year in particular, it has worked out really, really well.
It was like me yesterday. The twins shoved me out of the way so they could organise what was in the grocery basket and let her do it all. And I'm going, yep, back off, Mum. So, yep, and they're okay. And that's it. It's about doing those little tiny things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this year in particular has been a big ushering in of growing up, you know, with in so many different areas, you know, just taking responsibility, and even if, you know, getting more consistent with housework, or getting more consistent with their hygiene, or getting more consistent with whatever it happens to be. I found this year, like a few pennies, you know, a few more pennies have dropped. You know, they've actually been able to do things without asking and not worry so much about certain other things. So, yeah, definitely about celebrating the small wins, you know, keeping yourself focused on you know, coming to the end of the term. In New South Wales, we've got another week and a half. We finish at the end of next week. So we're really looking forward to that 2 weeks holiday because we have grandma and grandpa coming up. And yes, that'll be an interesting scenario. But anyway, because if we have our renovations starting, well, then that'll be, we'll all be living in one room. Anyway, no, not quite. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, well, that will be a challenge. But I think that's right, because what we sometimes think, we're not getting somewhere, but actually we are. We're still making all the foundations, the fundamental parts of it to lead into what's going to happen. And particularly for the new people starting homeschooling, you might not see anything for quite a while, or children like ours that have other things that really prevent them from enjoying life and things for naturally just roll.
Absolutely.
It's quite a long time, a lot of patience, encouragement and support to get them to wherever they're meant to be in that journey. Because who says what we said is the way it's meant to be?
Exactly.
Journey.
Exactly.
And yeah, and I think that if you're a newbie starting out and watching this replay, I think to remember that it's a journey, nothing, and I mentioned to a few people recently that it's not a race. It takes as long as it needs to take, and give it the time it needs to take. And if you've just pulled them out, use it as a beautiful opportunity to reconnect to your kids.
Yes, yeah, get to know your kids who they really are. Yeah, absolutely.
And
I just want to say something on that point, Pauline. It was actually really helpful. My stepsister, many years ago, she actually started homeschooling her kids even before I got married. So I was totally blown away with this horrendous idea of homeschooling. But what she said was actually really profound. She said, I don't have to be their teacher. I just have to stay one step ahead of my kids. And if they come to me and they don't know, they've asked me a question that I don't know what the answer is, I can actually say, well, I don't know. Let's find out that together and let's learn about it together. And that puts the kids on the same equal par with the parent in a learning experience that actually is bonding. And this is where I found a lot of, particularly when you're newbies and you think you've got to teach your kids, you don't. You've got to facilitate them. And facilitating is a vastly different role than teaching, because as soon as you, all you're basically doing is opening the door to where the learning experience is, or guiding them to where the learning experience is. And if you don't know, well, then you both go together through the door. So it's all part and parcel of how to actually adjust not only your mindset with how to learn, but also, and this is, as I said, helping the newbies that are just starting. But also, it's actually something that you'll do for the rest of your life. Because what happens when you're grown up, kids are going to come to you and say, Mum, I'm going through this scenario. I don't know what to do, and you've never been through it. Then you both know that you can get together and learn about it together. Whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a property settlement problem, whether it's a whatever, your kids will always know that you can actually learn something together regardless.
And I'm enjoying my kids now, well, and always have, but I've probably taken more time now that we're here on our own, coming and showing me something. You can tell they actually want to show me and teach me something.
Yes, definitely.
And I love that with them, that they come to me to show me something. It might be just on their game or whatever, but I love it that they come.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Or they've, for example, my daughter with her drawing style, she's discovered a new drawing style. She'll go, oh, Mum, I want to show you something I've drawn today, and it's something really cool. I haven't been able to do that before. It's lovely to be able to share that with them and grow with them in that, watch them evolve. So, yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of our homeschooling. We have the opportunity to do that, and we think differently because we know we're home with them, that we can open that door. I'll say to my kids, and they'll be telling me these things in the car, and go, look, just Google it, because I'm in the car, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
And we do those things.
For Google.
And I said, what happened to those encyclopedias from years ago? But I don't think they cover everything now. But just saying, sometimes we can't always give them all the answers when the middle of the job, and then we forget about it.
Oh, and don't you love the conversations that start when you're driving? Oh my God! You don't disown
what they've said, you've gone, okay, well, I don't know. Let's Google it later. I don't know everything. I'm not a, and whatever. But, yeah, I'm aware of the time for you. So,
That's all right.
but I also, well, I wrote it in the thing lead up to this tonight. Kids socialising. We've only been living where we are now for 2 years. A bit like you.
Yeah.
Trying to find social connections that are online, and the amount of invitations we keep having to push back because we can't fit them all in. Really, really good for my kids and their anxieties and confidence and, people to connect to. So I would say that would be my biggest win we've had this year, the celebrating.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I had a feng shui consultant come here just a couple of weeks ago and said, this is the year for that. And I go, isn't that funny? Because that's exactly what's been happening. Is big time our socialising has, well, it's been happening over the last year, but you can just see how much is happening at the moment. So it's been really helpful for my kids and all their things that they have to deal with every day. And then not that they feel isolated or poorly because they're not with people all the time, but just the difference of having that regular contact, and we just stop everything and go. And that's what happened last week with our learning. I had all this stuff planned and we thought we would do this and we did none. And we're doing the same thing this week. We're out socialising, going to the beach, going to see the Salt Lake. We're just
fantastic. And those pictures are fantastic, by the way. I love that.
Okay.
Salt Lake.
You need to hurry and get them up and have a look before it goes. But yes, it's only, and it's a very rare event. So we're being very blessed to be able to have that. But
fantastic.
Yes, and so that's probably our biggest win this year is just up in the social side of things has been really helpful, because when we left our home 4 years ago and then we had to move again and everything was very traumatic, I would say we try to connect socially, but it was a bit of a challenge because some kids were in school, some weren't, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now is the year that it's really, really, really taken off, and everyone's very happy. They've all found at least one, if not two or three, other children that they really connect with.
Oh, that's such a blessing.
Actually, are starting, and adults that they're starting to trust, because we don't have many in our circle that are where they're comfortable enough to trust adults. So it's been a really, really good thing. So that's our win for this term. But yeah, so I'm thinking if you're watching the replay at all from here, I'll put it through to YouTube and put it onto the group. If you wanted to add a comment even about one thing that you are celebrating, even if it's the fact that you just pulled your child out of school and giving them that freedom to learn from home.
And that's a big celebration, trust me. Just discovering your family's rhythm is a huge deal.
And it doesn't matter if it's little or big, because it's all part of the process. And like we were talking about tying the loop on the shoe before you actually do the next part of the shoelace. It's all a part of those tiny little pieces to put together. Celebrate
the small wins,
That they got an A+. It might be that they were actually able to write the first letter of their name. You can break it down into those little tiny steps celebrating. Or it might be the fact that you've actually had regular date nights like you guys do now, or date afternoons.
Or a cup of coffee in peace.
I watched a movie by myself today on the chair.
That's it.
There's so many things in our life, and we're truly blessed to be, especially here in Australia, very blessed to be here in Australia. And, But anyway, I will let you go. And
thanks, Pauline. That's been lovely to catch up.
Yeah, again.
Until next week.
You know what? I would assume that I will do next week.
You'll be on holidays, so you may not want to do this. We'll see how we go.
Yes, well, we've got to. I thought it was going to be holidays, but it's not.
Oh, you have to wait till the end of next week too.
No, it's so busy already. We've got 4 days out already. I get two guide dogs that are fully trained. Holiday.
That'd be lovely.
5.5 and 7.5. So they're two, a male and a female that live together, and they're coming to visit us for 8 days. So that will keep us
lovely
busy, as well as me, doing the normal, trying to clean up and get sorted out and have a rest somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So, I am denied whether or not to do the Wednesday night. we'll see.
Well, let me know.
Everyone stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know if it does go ahead, or maybe I too need to have a break as well. So
yeah.
All right, guys.
You take care.
You too.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, Pauline. Bye.
Bye.